What the national media shows is unaccompanied minors. And that's sad. That's a tear at anybody's heart. I've coached, I got kids, I get that. But what they're not showing is the getaways, the cartel influence on all this, the motives behind the cartels, drugs, fear, greed. It's all about the dollar bill and how they can exploit Americans for addictions. I don't know why the story's not being told. It's every day we're dealing with crime connected to the border. Had a female last night hiking with some others. And while she's in her car getting ready to pull out, 2 subjects that we suspect to be illegal in the country reached in her driver's door window to get the car. More or less what we call that in a big city called carjacking. People are on edge here. They truly are. 220 people a day are dying of drug overdoses. And then you look at 90% of all the illicit drugs in this country come through our southwest border. I mean, right, that alone, we should be securing this border. We first started seeing the numbers around the fall, around August. Like I said, we were running 300 to 400 illegal entries off our camera system. And then in August, we went to 1,200 illegal entries. And this was when the presidential election, the political rhetoric was really kicking up.
Did you receive a briefing about the border today?
Yes, I did.
What did you learn?
A lot.
Is there a crisis at the border, sir?
And then in December, right after the election, it was kicking up to over 2,000. And ever since then, we've been rising. The numbers have been rising. So I'll say this, politics has no business in policing, but we're affected by it, as we can see here. Now, as we sit today, all my checkpoints are closed down. We have a Border Patrol station that's closed down, which involved about 300 agents that now have been displaced out of helping my officers and deputies on the road. When's the last time you saw a Border Patrol agent talking about the reality of it? I hear it every day, how frustrated they are, how their hands are tied, how they can't do the job they were hired to do because they've been reassigned to childcare or processing. In the meantime, the more you pull off border security, the more you open up that opportunity window for the cartels to exploit us, exploit this country. When President Biden declared the southwest border a non-emergency, it stopped the physical barrier going up. It stopped all infrastructure completion. It froze that construction in sight. No more cables out of the ground, trenches, bridges not done, roadways not done. Infrastructure placed so they could put the physical barrier in. 50% of the project was done, but the physical barrier is not in place now. It's in disarray. It's not reasonable to take tax dollars and stop a project like we did. But you gotta fix what you started. They're looking for that better way of life, no doubt about it. But let's not forget, they're being governed by a criminal organization that won't release them once they get to the United States. They become very servant to them, whether it be through drug enforcement, drug sales, labor, or some kind of sex slave for the females. That's no American way of life. You know, kids in centers that just aren't being treated right, I get that story. And it's not right, I get that. But let's be real here. The cartels are pushing a lot of this. They're the ones truly exploiting and winning in this. By the time they get here, and then they report to us, local law enforcement, say, I was sexually assaulted. And these are young teenagers. We do the reports, we do the advocacy, we help them. But unfortunately, this happened in a foreign country, Mexico. They've been exploited. And 90% of them have some kind of birth control, just because they know what's going to happen on the journey up here. Now tell me that's humanitarian. Second to that, I'll say this. In this region of my border, the Tucson sector, which is my region, 181 John and Jane Does died last year that are not called by the cartels, hey, you got one over here in the mountain. No, they get found months later by a hiker or by a hunter. Now tell me how humane that is. And when people sit in Washington, D.C. and say, we don't have a humanitarian issue on the border, You need to come spend 24 hours with my team and go investigate one of those 181 dead bodies, John and Jane Does, that we turn over to a mortuary. We can't find family for them because we have no idea. Or they're too decomposed for us to identify them. And we try. We truly spend energy trying because that's humanitarian. And that's what's not being put out there. 181 in a year of John and Jane Does that died in this region of my border. That's a lot of people that we investigate. Everyone as a homicide until proven otherwise. Sometimes it's just a skull. Sometimes it's just pieces. But that's all we have. But we respect them with an investigation to the end. Did the Biden administration obtain a broken system? We had manageable calm. Now, were there programs, immigration, that need to be looked at? Was there border security aspects that need to be looked at? I won't argue that. But to come in and erase everything that was holding it together, and look where we're at today, he's got to own it. He's got to own it along with Congress. And people always say, well, the Democrats did this. Well, folks, I'll go back 3 or 4 years when the Republicans had the House, Senate, and presidency, and we didn't fix it then. So quit pointing fingers and quit playing political affiliation. Let's fix the darn problem, and let's get that border secured, and let's have processes that actually work for credible fear, that work for citizenship. Because the longer you ignore this and act like it's not a crisis, they haven't even admitted it's a crisis. I guarantee you, if I had a rash of burglaries or a rash of any kind of felonious crime in my county and I avoided it, I wouldn't be able to talk to you as a sheriff because they'd get rid of me. That's called bureaucracy and avoidance. And it's bothersome. The largest crime scene in the country right now for drug trafficking and humanitarian is on the southwest border. So why are we not addressing that right now? There will be some sad tales coming out of this, I promise you, because people will be hurt. People will be killed as a result of this. Whether it be through drugs, whether it be through violence, or whatever horrific story is going to be told by the media. Always remember, it started with an open border. And the message and how we got here is simple. We just won't look at that message.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss new content from the Daily Signal.